Healing Journeys today. It's Butch and Julieann Hartman.
Hello.
Welcome to HARTbeat. Welcome to the show that gives you advice and tips on how to have an amazing godly marriage and or relationship, putting Jesus Christ right at the center. You know, our title today is Rebuilding Your Marriage. We should have said tips for rebuilding your marriage.
Yeah.
And so we are giving some tips here because we've been married for 33 years, which is quite a long time.
It's a long time.
It can be considered a long time. Imagine doing something for 33 years. It's not 23, it's not 13, it's 33. But it's been a great 33 years because I got to spend it with you.
Thank you.
See.
Well, what's funny is that when someone says like they think that like we've been married 25 years, and yeah, that is a long time. But you're like, and then you say that into somebody that, well, when we say like, oh, we married 33 years, there's a couple at our church that have been married like 47 years. We're like, oh God.
And then we also have, we had a wedding here at our house this weekend, and the young couple's been married now for 3 days. And so I think they're 4 days in now.
Yeah, 4 days.
4 days in. And it was quite a ceremony. It was so much fun to do. What's great about it is we got to bless this young couple with not only our home, but with just giving them a awesome place to have a wedding, and they'll never forget it. We'll never forget it.
And the people here, they just had the best time. They were like, we've never been to a wedding like this before. And that was the goal, was to hear that people would say like, oh my God, I've never been to a wedding like this.
I want to give her all the credit because she planned the whole thing. I just said, I'm staying on a bit, whatever you need, I'm here to help. But the main thing people said, I heard a lot of people say this really inspired me.
Yeah,
I'm inspired to do things bigger in my life now, because not just because of the wedding, but just kind of they saw the way we kind of conducted our life and our home and things like that. And they were really inspired. I don't say this to glorify us. We say it to glorify the Lord, because without the Lord Jesus, we would have none of this.
Absolutely.
And we definitely wouldn't have had that's straight right there. That's kind of, this looks like it's angled, but I guess it is.
Okay.
Anyway, so anyway, we're here to talk about rebuilding your marriage, and we also are going to be making some changes to our show coming up here in a few weeks.
Very soon, yes.
Few weeks. The HARTbeat show will look a lot different. It even might have a few other things.
It won't be called HARTbeat anymore.
Well, it has a whole different title, so we're not going to tell you yet what it's going to be called. So
it's all a surprise.
All
You're going to love it.
Yeah, you're going to love it. It's going to be something definitely worth watching. So we're excited, and we can't wait to show it to you. So anyway, today.
Also, really quick, we are having our Q&A this Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific time. And the Q&A is all about the Celtic Nations tour. Yes, we're all going to give our account on what we experienced, but then also anybody that wants to write in and ask a question, please do so. You can actually write it on the chat. It's going to be at 8 a.m. Pacific time, so you can just write your question as we are going. But we just all wanted everybody's account on what happened, like what did they experience.
So those of you that don't know, we just did 3 weeks in Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, the Celtic nations, had an amazing trip. And so this Q&A is to follow up with that journey and give people the chance to ask questions about anything you want regarding that trip, because it was really pretty epic.
Yeah, it was really amazing. So that's happening this Friday. And so we also have, of course, our guest teacher. It's a girl that, Sonny Johns. It's a gentleman, and he was healed of Crohn's disease. He was also on the journey as well. So he's our guest teacher for the month. And then our journey is another lady who had basically what I had, but even worse than what I had, which was fibromyalgia. So I think you're really going to enjoy that too. I hate to say enjoy, but I think you're going to get a lot out of it. Let's just say
you'll enjoy it because the woman overcame the situation.
Oh yeah, she's healed now, but
that's why you'll enjoy it, because you'll see how people can not only they might get attacked with something, or something might come into their life, and they not only deal with it when they get it, but then when you put your mind toward overcoming it, and then you have victory in that area, that's the uplifting, amazing part. Of it. So we're excited about that.
Yeah. So today we're going to talk about rebuilding marriages. And so
rebuilding your marriage. So where do we start with?
So we're going to start with a few tips. Like, well, how do you do that? Do you bring in, like, let's say you've been married, 25 years, and the last, 20 years or so has been pretty bad, pretty hard.
Yeah. So I was going to say, where do you start? Like, how do you know, number one, the marriage has to be rebuilt in the first place, or has to be fixed up.
Well,
when your house, you have to get a new roof because there's leaks in it, or the paint's chipping off the wall, or you got to mop the floor. I mean, things get dirty, things get broken, things get in disrepair. So you fix them. So how do we fix them? How do we start with a marriage?
I think you would know if there's some problems going on in the marriage. It would be obviously consistent. And, one of you is going to be unhappy. One of you is going to maybe, be very emotional because you don't know where to turn. You're in a marriage. You don't want to get divorced. You have kids. Separation is not going to be the answer. So, and now remember, anytime we talk about something like this, we are never advocating for you to stay when you're being hurt, or if someone is cheating on you. That's across the board, right? So, but
you could rebuild a marriage.
You can, but while it's happening, though,
right?
If you're being hurt, like physically beat or something, you don't want to be there. And if someone is, indulging in adultery, you want to get out of that situation, at least get in two different places or homes so that you can think. I mean, it's just, I can't even imagine, us trying to work through this, and you're living at home and I'm seeing you every day and I'm so hurt and so angry and so traumatized. So you definitely want to maybe put some distance between you so that you can allow yourself to heal.
And some people need distance, and some people don't. I mean, I've heard stories of a woman or man who's divorced who lives with their ex-spouse while they're dating other people.
Well, that's different.
Which is very unique.
Very weird and very unique. But that's different, because what I'm talking about is that when you catch the person, when you just found out that, or they just confessed to you,
right?
You probably don't want them to live with you at that time.
Right. So I mean, let's just take it from that point of view.
Yeah.
You want to distance yourself maybe from the situation to get your head a little more clear.
Definitely want to do that.
If you've been hurt, and by the way, a lot of times people say, well, my spouse cheated on me. Absolutely a valid reason to, I got to either change the situation, or even if you wanted to leave, we're not encouraging that, but you could, of course. However, there used to be a therapist on the radio who used to say, a woman would call up and say,
Dr.
Laura, she'd call up, and people would call up and say, well, Dr. Laura, my husband cheated on me. And then she'd say to the wife, why did he cheat on you? What did you do to make him go cheat? And then that would erupt in a whole different kind of a conversation. We're just talking about what Dr. Laura used to say. We're not saying that.
No, because the bottom line, though, sweetie, is that
absolutely, yes.
Unless you've cheated and now they're cheating to get back at you, then it's the two people are at fault here. But
I was going to say, because also in the Dr. Laura situation, I don't believe she was a Christian person, and it wasn't really a Christian show. We're talking about godly centered marriages here. If you have Jesus Christ in your life, anyone can be forgiven, anyone can be redeemed. Yeah. Absolutely. However, in the natural, there might be some time for yourself, and you might need that time.
You still need to ask the Lord, what do I do? Right? The Lord's going to tell you. Probably the Lord told you something was going on. Or maybe he did tell you a while back, but you didn't want to face it. So you were like, I don't want to talk. No, I don't want to even think that my husband would do that. So, but the bottom line is that no matter what it is, I said this, but I never had a reason. You never gave me a reason to ever feel this way. But after being married so many years, if there was any kind of adultery going on, it's like, you really want to end all the history, unless somebody has decided look, I don't even want to be with you anymore. I want to be with this person, this new person. But it's like, you have so much history. If it's one time and something that someone does, you really need to talk it out, because it might have been something, where they were reacting, an emotional thing.
And we're not saying it's going to be easy.
No, this is hard.
Not even saying you have to do that. That's just an idea. But rebuilding your marriage. Another way to rebuild your marriage is, there might be nothing wrong in the adultery area or the physical abuse area. Right? It might just be something where you're picking at each other, you don't like each other, you don't want to spend time with each other. And when you start separating yourself from each other, you're both going to get weaker. You're not going to get stronger.
Mm-hmm.
When you separate and go like this, you will not be stronger. You will be weaker. And I mean that. Like a lot of us think, oh, the grass is always greener on the other side, or I don't need this person. I can go on without them. And maybe some people can. But if you want to rebuild your marriage, you've got to find a way to bring yourselves back together. And that's going to take dying to yourself. Just like Jesus says in Matthew 16:24, if you want to follow me, deny yourself, pick up your cross and follow me. The first part is deny yourself, because if we deny ourselves, we can then put him first and ask him what he would do. And a lot of times these marriages need to be rebuilt because we haven't put Jesus first. And I find it interesting how, and we've done this too when we were younger, before we had Christ in our life, we weren't talking to God at all. But then when things go wrong in the marriage, you start talking to God. It's like, God, can you please?
Yeah.
So now we want to talk to God when things go wrong, but we don't want to have him. We don't want to have him anywhere near us when things are going well. And I want everyone here to know, when things are going well, God is just as involved in your life as he is as when you need him when things go wrong. God is there 24/7. The Bible says he never leaves you nor forsakes you. And we need to remember that, because if we remember that, and you want to say something to your wife, men, want to say something to your wife, something terrible, something bad, something that's going to really put her in her place, would you say that to Jesus? Is that something you'd say to the Lord? If the Lord was right there, would you say that to him? And women too, asking the ladies as well. Would you say that to your spouse? And so ask yourself, would I really say this to my spouse if Jesus was here?
Yeah.
If Jesus was here, would I say that to my spouse? The answer is absolutely no. Of course you wouldn't. So we need to remember that. And you're going to find yourself changing your way of thinking. The Bible says we need to renew our minds. In the book of Romans, it says, don't be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Your thought process has to be renewed. That's a great way to begin rebuilding your marriage. A vision too. When we were changing things on this house a number of years ago, we were adding things to the house, and even this room we're sitting in, we remodeled this room. Before we did anything, we had to have a vision for it. Like, we used to have a big fireplace right where I am. There was a big fireplace right behind me, like right here, and we tore the whole thing out. Because if we were doing these videos 15 years ago, you'd see a big fireplace there. But we had to have a vision for what that rebuild was going to look like. So have you even envisioned what your new marriage is going to look like, or what your revamped marriage is going to look like? You need to have a vision for it.
Well, and let me just say this, that the vision is very important for a marriage. And that's why it's important to have a vision and a mission statement for your family, for your spouse, if it's just you two. And then, of course, as you start having kids, what is the mission of the Hartman family? What is the vision of whatever it might be, right? But I wanted to get back to what I was talking about, because I wanted to be clear about this. This is Julieann's opinion only. If there was ever a situation where there was an adultery situation, and we've been married 33 years, if it was like a one-time thing, again, this would never happen. My husband's I've never even questioned him. I've never even thought of it ever. But I know that I wouldn't just be willing to give up everything. Now, if this was an ongoing thing, and it just was like a sickness in a husband or a man's life, where they're like, this is something that's very disturbing.
And that can happen.
That can happen. That's a different story. But if someone screws up, majorly screws up, you might want to think about before you just throw everything away. Now, it's going to take a long time to build trust again. A long time. I mean, I don't know why we're talking about so much adultery, but like, my husband's never, ever even like given me anything to be like, oh, is he looking at another woman? And this is something that really plagues relationships. Is she looking? Is he looking? Are we going to when we go to the beach, and, and maybe my body doesn't look like, the little beach bunny next to us. Like, are they looking at her? I mean, just that kind of stuff. That's hard to live with. But anyway, I would count the cost, because I've built a life with you. And with this, I built a life with you, and it would just be so. But this, again, that's Julieann's. That's what I say now. That's my opinion.
And you've got to remember too. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I might say something different if it were to happen, but I can't say that, because that would never happen. But I think when we're going to rebuild something, you got to revitalize it. It's got to be revitalized. It's like, you've got to bring newness to it. Not that you have to go out like, we're going to go get tattoos. We're going to go get haircuts. We're going to go do something crazy. We're going to go buy a car we can't afford. Not any of those things. It's like, I think you need to sit down and really talk about what ruts have you gotten into. And it can happen. I mean, we've been together 35 years.
Well, guys,
married 33 years, but you can get into some ruts, but who pulls you out of the rut? You do. You have to make that choice and say, how are we going to rebuild this?
And we counsel a lot of people of all ages, marriages of all, I'm trying to get ourselves straight here. We counsel people of all ages, couples that are older than us, couples that are much younger than us. And you think those would be easier to counsel because you're already down the road. As an older person, you kind of know some of the pitfalls, and they're easy, but it's tricky because a lot of times the damage has been done, and it does come down to a trust rebuild. It comes down to a faith rebuild. It comes down to a like rebuild, rebuilding like for each other. We counseled a young couple recently, and we said, "You guys even like each other?" And both of them took a little while to answer. I was surprised. They took a moment and they thought about it. And I thought, wow, that's interesting because, you got to rebuild the like before and there's a love there. They said there was love, but the like didn't exist. And so that was something they had to work on. And we started suggesting things like, look, the husband was out a lot working, right? So we're like, you should be home more. There's some children involved and things like that. So you need to be home a little bit more if you can help a little bit. And anyway, stuff like that. That's like where you start. But rebuilding a marriage, and think about the people coming after you. We talk about this all the time, and I talk about it all the time. You're making decisions right now that will affect people for the rest of their lives. All the people coming after you will be affected by the decisions you make right now. People want to get that divorce or that separation because they think that's the answer. Not trying to shame anybody here, but they get that divorce, they get that separation, thinking that's going to be the answer. And they very quickly realize that they made a huge mistake. It's not the answer. If I'd only said sorry, if I'd only thought it through, if I'd only, not gotten so angry right away or whatever it is.
I'll tell you, I mean, there are times where I've watched myself, and even earlier before I was a Christian, it was like, I just want to run. I want to run away. I just want to get away. I don't want to deal with it. And so, I have felt that exact same way. And the Lord has really helped me through my life and showing me like, you're not going to run. If you're going to run, you're going to run right into my arms, and we're going to work this out together. But running away is not going to change anything. Running away may maybe give you a different viewpoint, give you a different scenery, but it doesn't change what's going on in your heart, because guess what? It will come back again. It will start coming up again if you haven't dealt with it and moved on from it. And so, those are like traumatic experiences in relationships, and they happen. They really do. I mean, it's just, some people have, caught their spouse, in the middle of something, whether it was doing drugs or watching pornography or, cheating on them for, so there's a lot of things that can happen. They're just being in a place that they shouldn't be. And it's traumatic. But our first response sometimes is run, get out, don't look at, you don't have to see it anymore. You can just run away.
There might be situations where you do have to run. We're not saying that you need to stay again in a situation that's dangerous. However, sometimes it all boils down to someone's mad, they won't apologize, or someone did something dumb and they're really sorry. And, guys, anything can be worked out provided you are willing to work it out. In Mark 11:23, it says, or 25, Mark 11:25, it says, forgive so that your Father in heaven can forgive you as well. We need to be able to forgive people so that our Father can forgive us. It's interesting how we're so quick to not forgive. Well, here's funny. We all want to be forgiven for everything, yet we're not the ones who want to forgive. I heard something really interesting at the wedding this weekend. Someone said, we were talking, someone said, I found that the people that push your buttons get really upset when you push theirs. That's really true. And, sometimes people will push those buttons and know exactly what they're doing. And, but then we're going to try and push theirs back, and they ain't going to like that. And they might not handle it the same way you do.
Yeah.
So one of us has got to be the strong one. One of us has got to be the adult in the room. So I ask you this right now. If you're watching this, if you're dealing with a marriage situation, which one of you is going to be the adult right now? One of you has to start.
Absolutely.
We just watched a little video of my granddaughter who's 6 months old. So cute. She's 6 months old. She's not even close to being an adult. No, nowhere near. We're 20 years away from that, right? I can't believe it's 20 years. Anyway, we're so far away from that, but one of us has to be the adult. And why not you? I ask you this. Why not you?
Yeah.
So let's think about that. So we're going to do another video on rebuilding the marriage. We have a lot of material here.
But I'm going to leave you with this. I mean, you can sit down and go and just talk with each other. Like, what are some things, like if we were to cut off everything, on today's date and leave all that stuff behind, what are the things that we're leaving behind? Don't just go, oh, we're going to leave all that behind. No, I want you to take inventory of the things that you want to leave behind, because you don't want to be like a truck with a U-Haul in the back. Like, I'm driving independently of the U-Haul, but I'm towing it. So you don't want to do that. You want to take inventory of what was in that U-Haul store or U-Haul truck, or what is in that, what was in the last 10 years, 5 years, 4 years, 1 year, 6 months, what was in there that you're not willing to bring into the new life. And that you write them down and say, okay, so that when you do maybe slip and you get thought patterns going through your head again of something dumb, or something that that you said, no, I said I wouldn't do that again. Then you can, then that person, your spouse, can remind you, like, hey, you said that was over. So let's keep that there, make it stay there. That's in the dead pile. That's in the pile of doom. And how do we rework it to where you are, whatever you're feeling, we can work on, but you're not going to bring that old behavior back into it. So that's tip number one. We will finish this next week.
Boy, well, I don't think we're gonna continue it.
We're just gonna continue it.
All right, guys, we love you. Have a great rest of your week and be blessed. Don't forget, marriage is a journey.
And we're on it with you.
See you later.
Bye-bye.